So this week, what our focus is just kind of getting our feet wet on JavaScript and kind of getting orientated to web programming in general. So I do have a reading assignment. For those of you who have the book, it's chapters 1 and 2. And for those of you that were unable to purchase the book, I have some web-based readings that basically cover the same information: how the web works, overview of web development, very similar to what is in chapter 1. JavaScript Basics also has chapter 1 material and chapter 2 material in it. Okay, so between those three, you are getting pretty much the same thing that people with the book have. Okay, and the resources that I'm using, a lot of them are at this MDN site, which is part of Mozilla.org. They are actually the people who create Firefox. It's quite good. So you can read through this, and there are some interactive exercises in here as well. Once you finish with the reading, then we have basically two little lectures, and the first one is super short. Okay, so this is basically a very brief overview of web programming and just kind of talking about different things that we are going to be taking a deeper dive into throughout the semester. And a lot of this you are already familiar with because we talked about this at the end of CIT 180. Okay, but this kind of just gives you a little orientation going into our first week. The JavaScript overview gives a little bit more information. Again, a lot of this we did have in CIT 180, but we do talk about syntax and statements, JavaScript statements, and we do get into variables, operators, expressions, and comments. Okay, so as you go through here, you will recognize a lot of this information because we did take a look at a lot of it in the 180 class. And we do not have a JavaScript assignment yet. Our first assignment is going to be creating a assignment page. And this is going to be similar to what you did in the 180 class. So the idea here, I'll pull one up. The idea here is that you're going to have an assignment page, and every week you are going to put in the links. Okay, so our first week is just the assignment page. These are exercises for week 2. And then as you go through the course, you'll have your week 3 exercises and your week 4 and so on. Okay, and so, if you're curious, I'm going to leave this up, but you can take a look at the page source. I do have the CSS here, okay, as well as the other information that you may want to see. And I will tell you that these lesson links are not going to work because those, I don't want you guys to get the assignment that way. So you actually have to do the assignment. So those won't work, but it does give you an idea of what they're going to look like. So you will be creating this page, and you are going to want some kind of image in the background. That image can be from the free PowerPoint site, or you can get a photo. And if you want a photo, Pixabay is excellent. That's usually where I go. It's free, and you can get some pretty nice quality graphics here. Okay. If you do use Pixabay, because you'll notice that I have a photo, you'll also notice that what I did here is I kind of put semi-transparent white in there so that I can actually see my link text. Otherwise, if your background is too dark, then we aren't going to be able to see the links, and that's kind of a problem. Okay, so kind of pay attention to that and play around with the styling. Okay, back to here. So this is just talking about how to get the background in. And if you do use a photo, you can go to that LunaPix site and upload the background, and actually it will kind of generate a color palette for you. We did that last semester, so you can do that again this semester, and here's a link to that. As far as the CSS goes, so this is what I used, but you can see that I have some of the values removed, right? Because you have to figure out your own font and your own font size and how you want your background image. You know, those things you should fill in. If you're going to use Flexbox, I did keep some of those. In fact, the values are all filled in, and you could use those if you wanted. Otherwise, you can change them. But you'll see where we've got here, Flex 1 is filled in, but background color, padding with all of that, that's something that you're going to need to decide. So you're going to need to fill that in. Okay, so some of them I do fill in for you to kind of help you out. And then some of them, you know, it's part of design decisions. So you guys are just going to have to figure out what you want. And anything that you see that's filled in, like padding or radius, you can change. Okay, what you don't want to do is just copy this and paste it without modifying anything, because you're missing values. There is no font family. There is no color here. So you need to actually go in and look through the CSS and customize it so that it looks the way you want it to. Then once your page is done, you can transfer it to the web. And when I created this assignment, I thought that naming it index.html would be great, because then, you know, when you key in CIt190, right, or when you select it, if you have a page that is called index, once you select that folder, the page displays automatically. So you don't see all of this. Now, there are some students that didn't like that. They want to see all of this. So if you want to see your structure here, then do not call it index. You can just call it assignments.html. Okay, so either call it index or assignments, that is up to you. But just be aware, if you call it index, then you're not going to be able to see all of your folders. Okay, so this is just kind of a reminder on how to FTP, and a reminder of what to do if you make changes, okay, to your page, because you have to retransfer it. And then additional things, commands that are useful, how to remove a file, how to create a folder, how to rename a file. Okay, that's all in this video for you. As far as validating your pages, I guarantee that this assignment page is going to have a validation error, because the validator doesn't like nested codes. And we do have some nested codes in this page that are perfectly fine. So if I paste this in and I check it, it is going to come back with errors. Okay, so I've got warnings are okay. But if you come down here and you see an error, you'll see that I have an H2 inside a UL. And that is okay. Right? Validator doesn't like it, but it displays fine and it is perfectly acceptable. Okay, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt when you see those validation errors. As far as how you're going to be graded, this is your grading rubric. Okay, and I pretty much stick to this as far as, when I'm checking your page, if you're missing something, I would take away points, but as you know, this is a web assignment. So if you are missing something, you certainly can fix it and resubmit. So that is the assignment. You also have an extra credit opportunity. And for the extra credit, this is a review of the 3 different types of responsive sites that we did in the 180 class. So what I've done is I've created a zipped file that you're going to want to download and decompress. And I do have it over here. If I can find it, here it is. So I downloaded it and here it is decompressed. So you'll notice there are 3 pages and they're kind of named according to the responsive layout that you need to add. And at this point, they are identical. So if I open up, grid view, and let's say I do Flexbox, and we're going to look at both of them on the web, they would look at the exact same, okay? Because what's missing is the responsive component. So if we look at the code, you'll notice I did an internal style sheet and everything is there except for the Flexbox code. Okay, and if we look at, let's see, that other one didn't open. If we look at grid view, it's the same thing. Looks the same as Flexbox. Everything is here except for the grid view. Okay, and I don't really expect you guys to remember how to add the grid view and the Flexbox. So I made videos for you. And these videos walk you through how to make the changes in the different pages. And you'll notice CSS Grid is the longest video, and that's only because that's the one that we download the files in, and then we extract them, and that's the one that has the kind of general information in it before we actually go in and start modifying the page. Okay, so each one of these is worth 5 points. So once you put the responsive layouts in each of those pages, okay, and you're only going to do grid view in this, you're only going to do CSS grid in the CSS grid page, right? So this is only going to be CSS grid. This is only going to have Flexbox in it, and this is only going to have grid view. And once you finish that, you will transfer those to the web, and then you will submit done to the Dropbox, because then I will know I need to go and correct them. Okay, and again, for your programming assignment, you also need to submit done. Okay, and so what you'll see is like a little box where you can key in the word done and then submit the assignment. You can see I've actually done this once already. So this is what it looks like at first when you come in. You'll put done in and then you'll save. And as you can see, it allows you to edit if you needed to. So that is the assignment. Okay, so you've got the programming assignment, which is your assignment page, and you have the extra credit. If you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know and have a great week.